Good morning, everyone. I'm Jeremy Adams, the Chief Health Officer here at the Fulcrum Group, and thank you for attending today's webinar about AI adoption. It is in these moments that I realize how much our owners here at Fulcrum want to help our clients with growth and challenges and educate the users we guard so they themselves can become more efficient and more confident navigating the world of artificial intelligence. At this moment, I encourage you to grab your laptop and phone and get ready to enjoy an interactive demo. Our presenters today are Fulcrum's finest, our leaders, David Johnson and Steve Meek. David Johnson is our VP of Sales. He's also our self-proclaimed queso connoisseur, even though he rarely wins the queso competition, but he did get second. He did get second a couple of years ago, and we still hear about it. And then Steve, on the other hand, tends to always win our chili cook-off, and he gives away the prizes to the next three contestants. Steve's an old school, long-time cybersecurity expert that does not mind explaining things, and he's maintained his CISSP certification for a number of years now. This webinar is number one in a series, so over the coming weeks and months, be on the lookout for emails and calls about the upcoming webinars to continue the series. We'll be recording this event, and we will post the video on YouTube, on the YouTube channel afterwards. So I believe it's Steve that's going first. If that's the case, without further ado, take it away, Steve.
Actually, it's David that's going
I
first.
knew it. I knew
See,
it.
I poisoned AI to tell you all of that stuff that favored me and was anti-David,
Fair.
just so you
Fair.
know.
Now we know.
Now we know. Now we know. All right. Well, we'll figure that out later, Jeremy. But thanks everybody for being here this morning. We've got a big crowd, so we're gonna jump right in. Today we're gonna talk about AI, the generative AI technologies and things that you can do to improve your processes, be more efficient, get more done, and generally just help you grow your business. And mainly today we're going to talk about Microsoft's AI, the solution called Copilot. So let's go ahead and keep moving here. So our agenda is to talk a little bit about AI and why it matters. And then we're going to talk a lot about the Microsoft 365 Copilot functionality. We're going to do a lot of demos there. We're going to show you how to use Copilot on your smartphone. It's a great tool that you can use on the go. And we're also going to talk a little bit about using Copilot in your Edge browser, so that as you're browsing, you can use Copilot to summarize web pages and do other functions without leaving your browser. And then we're going to talk about using Copilot inside of the Microsoft 365 world. We're going to start today with talking about Copilot for Teams. And you're actually going to see some of the Teams Copilot functionality. You see that we've got recording going on. We'll have transcription. We'll have the facilitator as well. So a lot of functionality there that's great for meetings. If you like to be present in Teams meetings, the Copilot functionality is awesome for that. And then we want to make sure that we leave you with the top 5 action items for getting started with AI. So let you be the leader in your organization to get those things done. So let's go ahead and keep moving. So the first up, we want to talk about Microsoft 365 Copilot Chat, and it's really the easiest way to dip your toe into AI. It works very similarly to ChatGPT and some of the other ones out there. But the great thing is it's built right into your Microsoft environment. So you can do things like ask it to summarize emails, write proposals, brainstorm content, and a whole lot more. When you're using Copilot in Edge, it becomes your web research assistant, summarizing articles or even creating comparisons. In the mobile version, it goes with you wherever you are. Just open Copilot on your phone and ask it anything. No more waiting until you're back at your desk. So Copilot is a branding term for AI copilots that can be used in a variety of Microsoft products. But today we're just primarily talking about Microsoft 365 Copilot. So, and there are a couple of differences about different versions of Copilot for Microsoft 365. So there's Microsoft 365 Copilot Chat. It's included with your Microsoft 365 subscription. And when you're asking a question to Copilot, that's called a prompt. All of your prompts will be grounded in data from the web, and then they'll be powered by the latest large language models, right? So in other words, when you ask it, it's only going to be looking at basically the internet. So, but then there's also a paid version of Microsoft Copilot. It's just called Microsoft 365 Copilot. And it's a add-on to your Microsoft 365 subscription. And it provides additional AI capability inside of your Microsoft 365 apps. It also gives you the ability to ground your prompts in work context. In other words, in the data that's inside of your Microsoft 365 tenant, such as your Outlook email, your SharePoint files, your Teams meetings, all of those kind of things. So it's very powerful to really help you do a lot more than just your typical generative AI. So here's your action plan for today. So if you haven't already done it, you can download and launch the Microsoft 365 Copilot Chat. You can try it from your Windows Start menu. You can also install it on your smartphone. You can open up the Microsoft Edge browser and try asking for a summary of a website or a document. We're going to try Teams Copilot a little bit later when Steve gets on. And then we're also going to talk at the end a little bit about our Copilot AI Council, where you can join our council if you like, just kind of way to build some leadership around AI in your organization. Or you can even, we can teach you how to start your own AI council. Oh, so now we're gonna look at some demos here. But first off, I just want to remind you that Copilot and most generative AI tools are based on what we refer to as neural networks. And it's just technology that allows humans to interact with computers using natural language. So now let's jump into some of the demos. So the first thing we're going to do is look at the Windows version of Copilot Chat. I keep the Copilot Chat app pinned to my taskbar, so I'm going to go grab that right quick. Bring it over to this window right here. So. All right. So there is your Microsoft 365 Copilot Chat. This is the, as you can see up at the top up here, you're going to see that I have, since I have the licensed Copilot version, I've got two options up here. I've got my work option, and then I've got the web option. So web means if I search here, it's going to only ground my prompts into the internet and not going to look at my local data. But if I click on work, it can look at my local data in our Microsoft 365 tenant. So,
hey, David, you might want to double check with the group and make sure that everyone can log in or knows how to log into Copilot Chat.
Yeah, does everybody have the ability to get in that? Can they see it on their toolbar or taskbar? Throw a 3 in the chat if you can get in.
I guess a 2 if you cannot.
Yeah, 2 if you can. Got some people getting in. That's great. Excellent. Let's go ahead and keep going here. So So as previously mentioned, the big difference between the paid and the free versions is that searches in the paid version can be grounded in your Microsoft 365 data. And we'll show some examples on that. So for example, right now, let's look at work. So I'm under work, and let's say I want to know when's my next meeting with Ryan Young. He's one of our fractional CIOs here. I can hit that and hit the button there. And it's going to search for upcoming meetings with Ryan. So as you can see, I've got several meetings with him over the next few days. And then, if I want to have some help, I can say find recent emails from Ryan, for instance, if I wanted to do that. So you'll just see there'll be some different things going on there. Just shows you some of the things that emails that we've had there. All right, let's go to the next one here. Let's see. We're gonna talk a little bit about the agents over on the left side of the menu here. I think the agents may only be available if you have the paid version. So you may not see this, but there's analyst and researcher. These are really good ones here. So if I go to my previous chats, some of these take a little bit of time to do. So let's see. I go to my all conversations and I do, let's see. Oh. Let's do a quick one here. Let's do a market analysis of let's go with how about NVIDIA. And you'll see that it'll take more time than the typical prompt. Steve, what are some of the things that you use Researcher for?
Anytime when I'm looking for more complex information, the great thing about Researcher is what it does is, in addition to just generating text, it also goes back and tries to quality check it. So typically that would be something if you're doing something of a more complex nature, like if you're trying to do like market research, trying to get a sense of your market, your area, if you're doing some financial research, something about a particular industry, just something more complex where you're looking for a much deeper view of things than just a surface gather me a whole bunch of information quickly.
Yeah, if you really want to have that deep dive, it's a great tool to give you that more than just the basic searching that you would get. So if you wanted to do market research about your the clients or vendors or other things, it's a great tool for those kind of things. And so in addition to researcher, you also have what's called analyst, and that's another one that's a great tool. We're going to give the researcher another second here to see if it finishes up any data for us. We can come back to that a little bit later, but we can go to analyst here. And if we wanted to upload a file, for instance, let's add here, and then we can do some quick insights about the file we just uploaded here. And we can run that. So Analyst is more of a data analysis for things like spreadsheets or other documents that you might upload that are more of a analytical nature. Steve, is there anything that you use analyst for in particular?
It complements researcher. Those two are beta agents from Microsoft. If you're kind of trying to evaluate those, a good thing to do would be to, just kind of pop open regular chat and just say, hey, when's the best time to use analyst versus researcher? The agentic stuff that I've added to my profile.
Yeah.
It can give you some insight.
And that's the key, is that you can use, Copilot to help you, figure out how to use Copilot better. So really good tip, Steve. All right, that should be done here in just a second.
So David, Patty asked the question, how do I add the work web tabs? If I'm understanding the question, when you're looking in your interface, you're not seeing an option for work versus web. Typically, that means that you're logged into Copilot using a personal user and not a Microsoft 365 business user. Once you log in as that business user, then it will give you the option of choosing to look on information in your environment versus what's on the web. So typically you'd have to log out and log back in using a business account, and it asks you, is this a business account or is this a Microsoft 365 business account? And it would be the same one that you use to log into email and everything else. For example, I have my business network email as steve@fulcrumgroup.net. I could also have the same email as a personal, but I went with Steve for a personal Microsoft account. So when I log into, when I want to log in and do business stuff, I log in as smeek@fulcrumgroup.net. When I want to log in and do personal stuff, cooking and, other kinds of stuff, if I want insight into how to make the perfect cat video, then I would use my personal account.
Awesome, Steve. And then Lorena asked for Copilot to see Outlook emails in the calendar. Is that only on the paid version?
So the paid version comes every Microsoft 365 user, not Copilot, just 365. If you're a Microsoft 365 user, you get access to the paid version of Copilot Chat. And notice my emphasis on chat. Chat is just this chat function that we're talking about here. So it's included with your Office 365 license. If you want additional features, the stuff that I'm going to be talking about, that's an additional license fee for Copilot for 365. So Copilot Chat is a product. Copilot for 365 is a completely different product.
So when I opened this chat, like what David was showing here, I said, do you have access to my emails and calendar? And it said no.
So most likely do you see work and web in your interface?
I don't know.
David, can you back up to show where the work and web show up? Just go back to regular chat. It says I have
to grant access, explicitly grant access. So if no one else has that question, we can move on.
Do you see the work and web in the center top like David has?
No.
I don't either, Steve. And I just re-logged in as P. Steelman and Fort Worth Chamber. So
I don't have that feature either.
Up in your top left, does it say M365 Copilot?
Yes.
Okay. I think you have to have the Microsoft 365 Copilot license to get that functionality, and that is roughly $35 per user per month on that. If you'd be interested in that piece of it.
Okay, so basically, what you're showing us, then we have to have that.
We're going to show some of both. So
okay.
So
Thank you.
if we don't have the button, is Microsoft Copilot just looking at us, or is it just looking at the web?
Just looking at the web.
Just looking at the
Okay.
web.
Okay. Thank you.
No problem. So think of it as like a paid version of Chat GPT without having to pay for it, right? You're gonna get that all of that web functionality there. So all right, so let's go back over here to this the last research that I did and went through the analyst. I uploaded the spreadsheet and it gave me some quick insights from a network assessment detailed report spreadsheet. So it gave me some information about, the organization's computers. They've got 15 SQL servers, 92 web servers, 90 printers. They've got, some other things here. They've got some aging infrastructure. They've got some patch maintenance gaps. They've got some security exposures. So just a little bit of a summary of looking, taking a spreadsheet and not having to go through, there were a lot of tabs. There were 43 worksheets in that spreadsheet. So having to go through that manually, this could give you some good insight into that without having to do all the individual work. All right, let's see. I'm going to go back to Copilot again, and let's do something a little more fun. So let's make an image with Copilot. Who's got an animal that they like? Throw it into chat if you got one. Your favorite animal, a cat. Okay. So let's go with create an image of a cat. And what is the cat wearing? Got a sweater.
A sweater
All
and
right.
a tiara. Nice.
A tiara. Okay. And what is the cat? Is it riding or on top of some kind of a vehicle? Riding in a vehicle? A chariot.
I like it, Pam.
Where is the where are they at? Are they in the city? Are they in the country, in the mountains? Where's their location at? In the desert. All right, I like it. Let's see what happens.
Thanks, Pam.
Holding a beer. Oh my gosh, I missed that one. Dang it. We can go back in and add. We can add it in later though. So
Pam was made for AI. She's got lots of ideas on things.
All right. Tara had a question that says, when you upload a spreadsheet, is the info shared with others? Steve, you want to take that one?
Yeah, when you add information to Copilot, when you've got Office 365, Copilot for 365, information that you upload, it kind of depends a little bit on how you upload it, but typically it's only going to be associated with your particular user and profile, so it won't get shared with others. Now, when you add spreadsheets to Teams or spreadsheets into OneDrive, then that's going to be more dependent upon the permissions. And so what Copilot has the ability to do is to render SharePoint and Teams permissions and see things if it's part of a group or something. So if that spreadsheet is already uploaded somewhere or you've shared it or other kinds of things, and it could be shared with others, but typically it's going to be just associated with your particular profile and isolated to you.
Okay, is there a way that I can check to see how I upload that, or will it notify me I'm sharing it?
To share it, you would actually have to tell it to share it or to upload it to like a Teams group.
Okay.
So if you're just attaching it to the Copilot chat, then typically that is not being shared.
Okay, thank you.
All right, there's your cat. I don't know who wants that, but I'll make sure to send it out later. So
Nice.
so you can definitely use it to make images for marketing or other efforts, internal uses. There's a lot of things you can use that for. So now what I want to do is I want to briefly show you guys how to use the Copilot app on your smartphone. So I've got it downloaded on my phone, and I'm just going to do a quick chat with Copilot, but I'm going to do a voice chat with it, and it's going to be, I'm going to try to have less like a natural conversation. So here we go. Hey, Copilot, do you have a recommendation for a warm and tropical vacation destination around Christmas time?
Hey, David, how about the Maldives? Crystal clear waters, stunning coral reefs, and perfect weather around December. Great spot to unwind and soak up the sun. Thoughts?
That sounds great. Could you put together a 5-day itinerary for me?
Absolutely, I'd love to help with that. How about we kick off with some beach time and snorkeling? Then we can mix in some local culture and cuisine, with a bit of island hopping for the adventurous spirit. I'll piece together a detailed plan with activities, relaxation, and dining. Ready to dive in?
That sounds great. Send it to me.
All right, let's map this out. Day 1.
All right. So hopefully that gives you an idea how you can use your Copilot mobile very quickly on the run and get more in detailed answers and have those conversations around research or topics or challenges that you're having. So, and then the last demo I want to do before I turn it over to Steve is show you how to use Copilot inside the Edge browser. So let me get my Edge browser up and running here. All right, here we go. So if you've got Edge running on your computer, you can follow along here. So to turn on Copilot in the Edge browser, all I've got to do is go up to my browser in the top right. You'll see I've got the Copilot button up there. I just click that, and it pulls up the Copilot capabilities for me, right? So if I want to, I've got a web page open. I've got our web page open. So let's just create a summary of our page and see what it says here. So it just gives you a quick summary of what's on this particular page. Has some different things here. And then if I want to, I could click one of these other things. Tell me more about the Star Power framework, for instance. It gives me some details on that. This is a quick way to, if you're looking at a lot of web pages, just get a summary of what those pages are. So very, very handy. And the good news is you can do a lot of the same things in the browser that you can do from Copilot Chat. So we can summarize a web page. We did that. Now let's summarize our email. So let me go create a new chat, and let's say I'm going to click on work, and I'm going to say summarize my email for the past 30 minutes. All right, come on, Copilot, go a little faster. Here we go. So we have some different things come up here, right? So just some different emails. So it's just a quick way to do that without having to leave your browser and what you're working on. So now the next thing we're going to do is show you how you can summarize a PDF. So I've downloaded a PDF here. Refresh it. Okay, here it is. So it's a cyber threat report. So let's go back here and create a summary. And it gives me a whole summary of that document. So that way I don't have to read a 50-page document. I can just get a quick summary of it. So hopefully that's helpful to give you just a few things that you can start working on. And we'll like I said, we'll have future webinars to cover more topics as well. But now I'm going to turn it over to Steve, and he's going to give you some more demos. So Steve, take it away.
Sure thing. And Frank, I just threw in a quick note kind of to your comment in there for you to look through. I'm going to share my screen now. Take over. Let me hide that. I want you guys watching my favorite cat video.
I'm having the same problem, Steve, where I don't see my my Copilot chats on synced between my desktop and my smartphone anymore.
Yeah, that used to be the case, but there we go. And get this. So David kind of showed you the free stuff that most of you should have access today. You may not have the full chat environment that looks into your environment, but if you've got chat in the web, you still have a really powerful engine for free where you can go out and conduct a whole bunch of searches and look at things and gather information. To me, the great thing about that, the free version of Copilot versus the free version of ChatGPT is in the Microsoft Copilot chat world, the data was more current. So you get like fairly current information when you're going out there and doing searches versus some of the Copilot or versus some of the ChatGPT stuff that was a little bit older. There's a lot of differences between the two. The best thing about Copilot chat is exactly what several of you people asked earlier, which was, does it keep my stuff secret? And in Copilot chat, it keeps your stuff isolated within your Microsoft tenant. If you post something into a ChatGPT, it has the potential to release that information out into the wild where other people have access to it. So be mindful of, if you do have information, not sharing it in ChatGPT and restricting that to only your Copilot world. But as far as Copilot, this comes under the paid version of Copilot Teams. But for me as a busy executive, when I first was making the decision on whether we should do Teams or not, Microsoft charged us. They didn't give us a free version of Copilot like they did some other things. So I tinkered with it first. And the thing that was the most sticky for me as a busy person was all the Teams functionality. Don't get me wrong, I use a lot of Excel, I use some PowerPoint, I use a lot of Word, I use a lot of Outlook. But for me, the number one thing, as soon as I started using Copilot for Teams, I was like, oh, this is worth it. This was an easy decision just because of how it helped me out with things. Here's kind of the top, in my head, the top 4 things that Teams helps you out with. Meeting summaries. Sometimes I'm just so busy, I don't have time to read the minutes, and it gives me kind of a quick, do I need to get involved with this or not? The real-time collaboration. When I'm in the middle of a meeting, I can't attend every meeting, but the ones I do get into, it feels like I'm always rushed, and it's I guess kind of the real-time collaboration is kind of like having a smart parrot, that's got the same degrees that I do. I can ask quick questions, and it can kind of catch me up to date on what's going on. The task management, I'm able to track action items, and it's kind of like having a digital buddy, Chad. My buddy Chad, who's always nagging me for stuff, but he's kind of asking me things, pointing things out, gently nudging things that we need to do, kinds of stuff. And then it allows you to do contextual search, basically going through and through the inbox and stuff. Just kind of helps you look through numbers, as David pointed out. In the same way that the ChatGPT lets you look through stuff, Copilot, Teams Copilot lets you, when you query in the window, it can look through Teams, Outlook, OneDrive, basically all your Office 365 workloads. If you've got your files in a file share, and not in OneDrive, it can't see that stuff. If you've been one of our clients for a while, that's part of why we've probably talked to you about OneDrive. Is the more workload you get into into Office 365, all of those things Microsoft has access to, or Copilot has access to. Any questions of that before I go into, since we're running short on time, I'm going to try and quickly go into the demo, but any questions?
John had a question about talking more about the real-time collaboration. Is that going to be part of your demo?
Yeah, I can talk through some prompts and stuff that you can do in there, and what I'll do is I'll even show you some from this meeting that we're having now. I can show you what I see as we go through stuff. So let me. Okay, I switched over to the next slide, which talks a little bit about the Copilot teams. But let me. See, I'm still sharing that screen, so let me just move. Over here. Oh, wrong one. So I got about 50 things open, as you might imagine. So here's an example of kind of some real-time collaboration stuff. Here in the middle of the meeting, facilitator prompted me and said, basically, hey, this meeting's halfway over. I'm recapping kind of any decisions. Had this been a meeting where we'd kind of come up with decisions or action items, it would have mentioned some of those things and made suggestions for me there. I could do things right now, I guess, as the leader. I could do things like, I'm here in the middle of talking, but I could prompt it stuff like, hey, could you summarize the key points so far? And had this been like a business meeting, maybe a cadence meeting with my team, it would have come. Actually, I'll put that into meeting chat. Where's Copilot? Did that respond? Sorry. Back here. So if I'm going in the middle of the meeting and I'm trying to figure out where to go with certain things, I can actually ask it questions like, if I'm the leader, I can summarize the key points. I could ask what action items that we've come up with so far. I could ask what are the main concerns, of the group, or what decisions have we been made so far. But the point is that during the meeting, I can actually interact with Copilot. There's different ways to get at Copilot within Teams. I showed you both versions. Within the Teams meeting, here's Copilot in the middle of the meeting, and then also have Copilot as part of Teams. You see how it's not actually part of the meeting. And here I can kind of query stuff about other things. Let's see. Can you see if I'm any? See, I've got work. So it's going to go out there, look through all of the workloads, and it's going to try and see what it can find related to what it thinks is the AI presentation today. But the prompt here is different than the prompt here that's actually within the actual meeting. So here in the meeting, this is kind of your real-time stuff, and the other side is the kind of just related to the entire organization. So now it's going to pull out the meeting that I scheduled. It's going to pull out the presentation file that David and I worked on, and if there's any other documents that that I created. Oh, here's another thing. I put together kind of a user enablement guide. It's referenced in the chat thread. But you can kind of see as a busy person, you don't even have to be an executive, just a department head, a leader, any individual who's working a lot of stuff. We deal with a lot of stuff, and the hard thing now with collaboration to me is that we've got so many places to look for things. We've got chat, we've got emails, we've got messages within channels, we've got text messages. We've got so many different things that we're dealing with. It's hard to get access to those things, and to me, that's really where Copilot for Teams really helps you out, is looking through all of those things. Going back to this back over there, the right one. Some other things that you can kind of see that it's doing here is kind of coming up with kind of an agenda timer. If there was, let me pull up some other meetings that we've had. If I pull up some other meetings that we've had, let me go to last week. If you go to our weekly managers meeting, you can kind of see we've got an agenda for the meeting. It ticks off those things, any of those things that we go through, and goes through our notes, talks about things that we talked about, any items. It'll summarize it, comes up with a list of tasks and action items. I could actually come in here and assign action items to people in there, or schedule dates, other kinds of things. It's able to kind of come up with different meeting insights from different things going on. If I wanted to look at a meeting recap, actually, I don't think we recorded that one. If I go to a meeting recap, it does some really, really wonderful things. In addition to, because it's using AI, it's able to take the information from that meeting and completely summarize all the different topics that we talked about, as well as any specific items that we wanted to drill down into. We could kind of talk about. We could drill into whatever particular topic and so forth. If I missed that meeting, I could come in here and look at. At mentions. What it will do, let's say I missed this meeting, I could come back and look at this meeting, and I can see where David mentioned my name, where Tracy mentioned my name, where David mentioned my name again and again. And then if I wanted to find out more about whatever was talked about, I could actually click on this and go into here, and it will take me to exactly that spot, and I can start playing it and hear what was said about me. Anyone think that's a kind of cool thing? If you do put 4 in chat, I think it's awesome.
Go with 4.
When Copilot's running, we're recording this message, and it records this all to go into stream, but it also saves everything as a transcript, so we can actually go back through and go into great detail for those transcripts. It shows where everybody's talking throughout the length of the conversation. So if you've got a long meeting, maybe some sort of formal all hands meeting for your organization, you can actually come in here and it breaks down the entire conversation into chapters. It can even break it down as far as into specific topics about things that you drilled into. So as far as going back in your meeting rhythms and being able to get value out of those things, to me, it really helps you not just be more present in the meeting, but get more meaningful information out of it, being able to bring that continuity from meeting to meeting, from you to the next person, and kind of keep things going. The The one thing that's a little bit of a challenge is when you schedule the meetings, you have to make sure and get all the right settings in place. Oh, let's go to. So let's say I'm scheduling a meeting. I have to go into my meeting options and make sure I select certain things to make sure I'm capturing all of these things. And if I'm setting like a recurring meeting, there's the normal things about the lobby and stuff, but you can see that there's like some special sections here for recording and Copilot. So you want to make sure that you automatically record your meetings. If you've got multiple participants who might be in different languages, Copilot can now recognize multilingual speech. So if you've got people speaking a different language, it can actually record that language and kind of help with the translation. And you can decide who all will have access to it. As far as the co-piloting a facilitator, you can make sure that it's on during and after the meeting, or if it's only during the meeting. So lots of cool features there to kind of make sure that Copilot is there in your conversation and recording everything. But you have to make sure it's enabled every time you have a meeting. If you've got a recurring meeting, if you schedule these options correctly when you first do the meeting, then all the meetings after that will have the information that you need. I know that's kind of a quick overview of Teams for Copilot, but any questions about that before I move on? Since we only had an hour set aside for this.
Let's keep rolling.
All right, I'm going to go back to the presentation here, and the top 5 things for executives. I've got about 2 minutes for each, so I'm not going to go through a lot of detail there. But to me, the number one thing for you to have a successful AI journey is just executive involvement. It's got to have somebody at the top who understands the strategic significance of what we're doing. AI has the power to not just help us be where we are, but take huge steps in the future of where we're going to be. And of course, that requires the whole organization being part of it, which means an executive has to lead that charge. There's obviously a commitment of finances and personnel. What Microsoft learned at the enterprise level of rolling out a Copilot is that it's never a priority unless somebody makes it a priority. And again, even in our own organization, when I rolled it out to my internal AI council, I found that I really had to harp on people, make sure that they made it a priority. Hey, I know we've got 100 things going on. There's always stuff that's going to be, way busier than what we're doing. But if we're really going to take advantage of this, we've got to overpower every obstacle and help move it forward. Even the name, there's a reason why Microsoft calls it Copilot, is because it needs human ambition. It needs a person to go, I see this. I know what we need to do. I don't know how to do it, but I know if I learn a little bit, I'll be able to take us there. And so that's why Microsoft calls the tool Copilot, not Pilot, because AI doesn't do anything. AI depends on people. AI isn't there to replace people. AI is there to replace low-level work so that people can focus on higher-level stuff. So you really need executive involvement to drive all that buy-in, reinforce commitment, and just make sure that you're aligning those outcomes to business goals. The second thing Microsoft learned out of trying to employ this at the enterprise level is you need somewhere to start. You need kind of an AI council. I'm a big Jim Collins fan. One of the things Jim Collins says about anything is that you want to fire bullets before cannonballs. If you're trying to do something big, you don't try to bite off this huge thing all at once. You start small, gain some success, and then you're able to move forward. So when you start your AI council, I think of it kind of like your Delta Force, your small group of people who are going to be highly committed because they're already adopting Office 365 at a high level. How do you know who that is? Fulcrum, we can see that in your in reports in your Office 365 tenant. It could be you decide who your council is by what role is the hardest to hire. Maybe your busiest people, the people who are most overwhelmed, those are the people who really need help and that AI can help with. It could be where the most manual processes are in your organization. I just said that AI can automate things. So maybe your thing is what you need to, what the most manual processes are in your organization. But when you start your AI council, there's different approaches. Do I take a single department and focus on them because they've got like stuff, or do I kind of do it across the enterprise? I chose to take people from different departments because I wanted, when we collaborated in our weekly meetings, I wanted us to be able to kind of bounce ideas off of each other and, hey, here's what this guy's doing over in sales. Here's what this guy's doing in service delivery. Here's what this fractional CIO is doing. Here's what I'm doing as as the leader of the organization. It gives you the ability to kind of pull different things and potentially apply the same logic to a completely different task. And I feel that in our own stuff that we kind of ran into those same things. But the last thing I threw on there was data governance. One of the things that I learned is that since AI is tapping into your data, bad data doesn't help. So if I'm trying to take advantage of all the great things that make Fulcrum, the things within the past 3 years are the great things that are Fulcrum. The things from the past 20 years before that aren't as good. Why is that? Because it's old data. It's old information. It's not as applicable. It's old client information. It's historical. So data governance is important because you have to learn what to keep, what to get rid of, what to archive, what to delete, how to handle old employees, all of those kinds of things. So data governance is something that all executives need to make sure that they're mindful of today, even if it's just a written policy, because that written policy is going to lean into what your digital policy is going to be at some point. So understanding what that is something you should be working with your legal, with your teams, just knowing what data you need to keep and what data you need to move on from or archive elsewhere. The next thing, as far as Microsoft learned about taking an organization into AI is a completely different technology. It's a completely different mentality. It's a completely different thought process than anything that you've ever done before. I consider myself a cybersecurity expert. I spent probably 100 hours of research and reading, and I still didn't quite get it. And a lot of that was, it was just so foreign to me. I just didn't get it. I didn't understand it. I didn't quite, understand what I was going to do with it. And part of that was because I'm looking at it from the approach of not just how do I understand it, but how do I need to teach it to others. But back to my original point is I didn't have a goal that I was looking after. So I wasn't trying to point out a problem. I was just trying to understand everything about it as a subject matter expert. It shouldn't take 100 hours for you, but it will take some time for you to understand the basics of how to prompt, the basics of where information is, the basics of what kinds of things you're looking at, just the thinking process. As a consultant, I used to say, what makes me a great consultant, my superpower is I know the right questions to ask. Now AI has kind of changed that for me. It's not knowing the right questions to ask only, it's knowing the right questions to ask and understanding the right way to ask it. So there's a little bit of a learning curve to that you need to learn to help speed your adoption, to help you understand the security side of things, to make sure that you're unlocking productivity and innovation for your organization. And a lot of that it does come around prompting in the beginning. So coming up with learning, there's a lot of different tools, and some of them you have free access to today because Microsoft wants you to have them. Use cases. I talked about pointing out a real problem. what I chose to target for our organization is our management framework is scaling up, which is a little bit like EOS if you're an EOS shop. But within scaling up, one of the things it has is PACE, process accountability chart. And what that does is it looks at our top 4 to 7 processes. So for me, Microsoft says, go out, come up with these use cases. They give you some sample ones. I took the reverse approach. I took our top 4 to 7 processes and said, hey, if these are our most important processes, how can AI help me with these and automate, innovate, make these better? So what you're looking for out of use cases is you're just looking for easy wins. You're looking for real value, ROI. If you're dropping $30 on a license, the first question in your head as an executive should be, and probably is, how do I get my $30 back? How do I turn my $30 into $60 or $90 or $100 every single month? Because I know I'm getting charged that every single month. And there are some easy wins in the tools. Hopefully the chat and the teams kind of give you some ideas of some easy wins just from your Office 365 apps. But oops, sorry. But there's other things out there. There's and beside the tools that we showed you, there's now specific hardware that work with AI to help speed it along. You saw some of the queries and other things. Microsoft has rolled out within Windows some things that, as I'm working, just what we saw in the meetings, that was helpful stuff. Now Microsoft Windows 11 with the right hardware can also start tracking what you're working on at any given time and include that in your semantic index. So if I'm trying to remember a document, something I was working on, it can kind of help you track those things down. I'm actually just placed an order for one of the new pieces of hardware out there to be able to start testing some of those things for ourselves internally, because I know for an organization, we're always tracking our time, what we're working on, those kinds of things that can help somebody recreate their notes of what they were working on. There's other things there that we won't go into today, but as we start this AI council that we're kicking off for our clients, the hope is to kind of dig into things like, what is agentic AI? What is physical AI? What is assistive AI? Because those are things that, those weren't even on my roadmap a year ago. But now I'm thinking about, hey, is there something that Fulcrum could do to kind of take advantage of some of these things in our normal operations? The last thing there is just that you just can't ignore it. There's so many things that AI does, but what I started running into with our own organization is I was holding off on AI to make sure that we were secure, but what was happening in the background was my team was starting to go off and do AI on their own. They were downloading tools, they were checking out stuff, they were doing searches with the free version. They were doing things that maybe I didn't want them to do yet, or maybe they're going out and doing ChatGPT and putting financial information out there or proprietary information into ChatGPT that I didn't want Fulcrum information out there. So the thing that scares the heck out of me is that shadow IT, all those risks of, if I do nothing, then my team's still going to do something, whether I approve it or not, because they're all business people trying to get their work done, and they're going to try and find the easiest way to get it done, which is AI. So it's kind of hard to push it off and miss out on the efficiency, but there's also the risk of not doing anything because they're going to do something. And in the end, we're all on a journey of trying to find that right thing to take advantage of from AI. And that's that getting to that aha, that one thing, that's that magical thing that all of a sudden you're going, oh my gosh, I get it. Teams for me was, in my head, was the first thing that just kind of said that, oh, holy crap, I got it. Now I know a little bit about how this can be used, and everything just kind of started to fall in line once I got that one little taste of success. So my advice to you, oh, sorry, let me move. I keep forgetting I've got that in the way. So my advice to you is, just get started. Open Copilot on your PC, on your smartphone, and just start using. Hey, you're not ready to pull the trigger? No problem. Just start using Copilot, because those are skills that you're building that you don't even realize that you're building out of repetition. It's like muscle memory for the brain. The more you're doing it for your cooking recipes, for your whatever it happens to be, the better off you're going to be when you're trying to apply it to the business. Switch from using the Chrome browser to the Edge browser if you can. I've got like 1 or 2 apps that won't work in Chrome, but I found that not only did moving to Edge speed what I was doing, but also that so many things, so many AI things I'm able to, it's at my fingertips. I find I just use it quick, much easier of just, hey, summarize this. Hey, I'm reading this document, summarize this, summarize this, summarize this. Just summarizing things as an executive just gives so much power, so I don't have to read every single thing that's there. And it's amazing the accuracy that is there now in those kinds of things. I talked about the, starting your learning journey. Before we close out, I'll post into chat some of the different things. If you've got a Copilot license, you get access to Copilot Academy, which is Microsoft's tool to kind of help you learn all those kinds of things. If you don't have a license, then they still give you access to things like Microsoft Learn, so you can learn about any topic, not just Copilot. You can learn about Teams or Office or Excel or anything else. And then the prompt gallery gives you tips on different ways that you can prompt. And then what's next? I've got a link there for you. We'll include access to this presentation. It doesn't have a lot in there, but there's a link to this AI Council that we're going to start doing once a month on this cadence. The first Tuesday of each month. So yeah, you should get. I think we'll post it into here, and so I don't know what we're planning to do to invite everyone, but my thought out of this as a leader with Fulcrum is that if we can pull together a variety of our clients who are at different states and they're all sharing with each other, they're going to get a lot out of it because they're collaborating with other people within their organization and potentially people outside their organization who are also trying to get the most out of Copilot. So even if you're starting small, I think Microsoft recommends that you start at least 10% of your employees into Copilot to kind of get a good group with kind of a minimum of 5. I know that not every organization can do that, but I thought that if we started our own AI council of our clients, then they might be able to collaborate and start smaller, but still be able to get something out of it. And that way we can help you get to your aha moment. And with that, I'll go ahead and shut up. And if there's any follow-up questions that people have here, I know some people are going to have to drop off, but if you've got a question, speak up and we'll field what we can.
All right. Well, thanks everybody. We will definitely be sending a follow-up email with links to all of the resources that Steve mentioned. We'll send a link to the video so that you will the recording of the webinar today, so you can share that with your team, and and then we will be following up invites for the next webinar and also the AI Council. So we'll be talking to everybody about those things. So don't hesitate to reach out if you got questions. Things that pop up in your mind after this, feel free to reach out and we'll get those for you. And we'll also be covering these in your upcoming Spot quarterly strategy reviews as well with your leadership team. So thanks everybody. Have a great day.
Thank you. You too.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I might have to leave that in the video, Jeremy.
Sounds good.
All right. Thanks, everybody.
All right, here we go.